As it currently stands, it has become abundantly clear that the DOJ wants nothing to do with going to trial on the charges that they have pressed against Kilmar. And my guess as to why that is because, again, they probably have zero evidence whatsoever. When people think about the Trump administration doing political prosecutions, a lot of people go straight to like Comey and Letitia James, but ultimately Kilmar, his case was one of the first political prosecutions. They slapped a bunch of criminal charges on him because they were pissed off that he stood up to the administration when they illegally deported him. But again, it has become clear that the DOJ does not want a trial here. And so they are doing everything in their power to get him deported again before the criminal case can get to trial. And they are also failing spectacularly at that. Remember, Kilmar is from El Salvador, and his withholding of removal order to El Salvador is still valid. The government still legally can't send him back to El Salvador, so they have to send him to a third country. And so far, their choices for that third country have been Eswatini, Uganda, and Ghana, all three of which have said no. All three of those countries have said that they are not going to take Kilmar. It seems like none of these African countries that the Trump administration want to send Kilmar to want anything to do with this case. And now the DOJ might end up running into a pretty big problem, because in 2001, in a Supreme Court case called Zadvitas v. Davis, the Supreme Court ruled that basically even if you totally have the intention of deporting a person, you can't just hold them in immigration detention forever. You can only continue to hold a person if it is likely that in the near future, you're gonna be able to deport them. But with Kilmar, it's starting to look like that's not the case. It doesn't look like the Trump administration is gonna be able to deport him in the near future, because every country that they've asked if they could send him there, they all keep saying no. And so if there isn't a high likelihood that the administration is gonna be able to deport him soon, continuing to hold him is just another violation of his constitutional rights. I guess add it to the pile, because this guy has had his constitutional rights violated 6 ways to Sunday. The Trump administration has spent the last 7 months fucking around with this guy, and now they're at the find out stage, because their egregious violations of all things attorney ethics and repeated violations of Kilmar's constitutional rights very well might be on the verge of getting him released from custody, simply because the Trump administration has been so publicly bad faith with this case that no country wants to deal with this shit at this point. So now the DOJ is in kind of a pickle. They don't want to go to trial with his actual criminal case because they don't have any evidence against him, and they can't find a third-party country to agree to take him. I guess that's just what happens when you can't stop doing illegal shit. But yeah, that's where we're at so far with Kilmar's case. As soon as there's any updates at all, I will let you know, so go ahead and click that follow button so you don't miss any future updates on these crazy legal cases, and so you don't miss out on hearing about any of the various ways in which the Trump administration has disrespected your United States Constitution.